2 weeks now since a human skull mysteriously surfaced in a Kansas City neighborhood.
We know the remains belong to Terry Kirtley, but the detectives and family members are waiting to find out if he's a murder victim. Ryan Kath spoke to the investigators working to answer that question.
Krista, we're learning more about the Oklahoma man police identified this week, and we're also learning how difficult it may be trying to figure out how he died.
Last week, a mysterious discovery set off this intense search through a wooded area in Kansas City.
Right here. Exactly where it was.
Like others, the man who found a human skull in the 3700 block of Myrtle wanted to know whose family was missing a loved one.
It just made me wonder, like, what happened to this person.
Police later found a skeleton in the thick brush, and thanks to a social security card, they matched dental records and quickly identified the remains of Terry Kirtley. 160 miles away in the tiny town of Commerce, Oklahoma,
just waiting for a call.
The news reached family members who had lost touch with a brother they said had wandered down the wrong path.
Day before yesterday, I finally started thinking, you know, it's true.
We found that Kirtley went to prison in 2006 for drug possession and was released last year on parole. The big question is how his body ended up in this Kansas City neighborhood.
It's an osteometric board. It's called a bone board.
We spoke to investigators with the medical examiner's office who showed us the tools they use to find clues. But in rare cases where there's a skeleton but little other evidence, the chief investigator told us determining the cause of death can be a tremendous challenge.
That's a goal of ours, is to make sure that, one, we can supply answers to the families, and two, is that we can get that person back to that family so they can have some type of closure. If you've ever had to experience it yourself, it's a very difficult thing to wonder what happened to somebody.
We loved him, his family loved him, and we wish he were here with us.
Investigators hope when their work is done, Terry Kirtley's death will no longer be a mystery to his family.
Kirtley was sentenced to a 5-year prison term for possession of a controlled substance in February of 2006. He was then released on parole 3 years later. The Department of Corrections issued a warrant this June when he failed to check in with his parole officer, but the department actually learned of his death today when we called to ask some questions. Investigators with the Jackson County Medical Examiner's Office talked to us in detail about the challenges of working these types of cases. We've posted their entire interviews on our website, NBCActionNews.com. Ryan Kath, NBC Action News.